Hey everyone, welcome back to 30 Days to Make a Sale. It's day 3 and today we're going to be discussing keyword research. In particular, we're going to be talking about two main areas of keyword research, and these are how to find a high buyer intent keyword and what is it, and secondly, what is a low competition keyword and how do you find them. The keyword research part of the planning process is probably fundamental. It's probably the most important part of the overall planning process. And the reason for that is because if you don't find the right keywords, it can make or break a site and the success. And obviously it can make or break you as well, as an entrepreneur, as a internet marketer. And if this is your first site, if you make the mistake of finding the wrong keywords and going with that, and obviously building a site out targeting these keywords and link building and such, and 6 months down the line you realize you made that mistake, that's a costly error to make. So it's really important that you find high buyer intent keywords if you are planning on making money from the site, and secondly, it's really important you find low competition keywords if you actually plan on getting any traffic to the site. Let's jump straight into it. Let's just recap what we're going to be doing here. First, what are high buyer intent keywords? Secondly, what are low competition keywords? How do we find these keywords? And how to validate the SERPs for the chosen keyword. So first, what is a high buyer intent keyword? What I mean by this is, there's obviously millions of queries out there, but a high buyer intent keyword is one which a consumer is already in the process of doing product research and looking to purchase a product. So if we go over to Chrome now, and we look at this, for example, best baby carrier for dad. This is going to be the example that we use throughout this video. And the reason this is a high buyer intent keyword is because, one, it's best. Anything that's got best in, it's a consumer looking obviously for the best products. If a consumer is looking for the best products, then they're looking for advice, they're looking for information because they're already in the buying process. They just want to ensure that they're going to get the right product, the best product. You can take any example here. You can look at best laptops, best TVs, best microphones, best mice, best water bottles, anything with best in, you're pretty much onto a winner. The general conversion rates I've got from best related keywords are, from Google to my website, from my website to Amazon, and then Amazon to conversion, I've had conversion rates very consistently between 5 and 10%. And I believe a lot of the best related keywords are actually more towards the 10% mark. So if you can imagine, a 10% conversion rate is very, very good. The second type of queries are review type queries. So for example, let's think of one. Just go with laptops. Laptop reviews. It's obviously massively competitive, so I wouldn't actually recommend going for that for anyone. Or baby monitor reviews. So these are the two biggest buyer intent queries that I would not queries, so biggest buyer intent terms that I would stick to when you're making your first website. The reason being, there's others, but the reason I say this is because those two have just been proven year over year over year that they are the best performing type of keywords to target. If you've been watching my videos so far, then you would have noticed I mentioned obviously Baby Gear Lab. I've also mentioned consumersearch.com, and if you remember back, most of those keywords that they were targeting were best related or review related. Now, there are several other types of high buyer intent keywords, such as baby monitor comparison, anything with comparison in, I guess. Things like affordable and cheap related keywords are also, so affordable baby monitors is also a good one. The only issue I have with affordable and cheap is the fact that the consumer is obviously looking for a cheaper alternative. Now, there is no issue with that really, but it's the fact that I want to get as high as commission as possible. And if someone's looking for an affordable or cheap option, then that's not going to get me the high commissions that I want. So for today, we're going to be focusing on best and review. So let's just go to the query because I've actually forgot what it is. What is it? Best baby carrier for dad. Okay. So let's have a look at this. So now we've pretty much distinguished what is a high buyer intent keyword. Next, we want to be looking at what is a low competition keyword. Now, a low competition keyword is a keyword which you as a internet marketer, as a Amazon associate or just a general affiliate, can actually rank for with either a brand new website or your pre-existing website. Now, the way that we calculate low competition keywords is generally we use tools, or at least myself and many others use tools such as Moz Pro keyword difficulty tool, this one here, and Longtail Pro, this one here, which most of you are probably familiar with. The reason we use these tools is because they calculate a keyword difficulty score for you. There is actually ways of calculating this yourself. There's an Excel sheet that I've used in the past. The issue with that is you have to collect all of the data behind this calculation manually, and that takes a lot of time. You can imagine, if you're analyzing, 1,000 keywords, which is not, it's not unfamiliar. I think most of my websites I analyze between 10,000 and 50,000 keywords per website that I launch. So if I was trying to analyze 10,000 keywords and do it through Excel and collect all the data myself, I'd probably not have even launched my first site by now. So for the fact that it's an efficient and effective way of doing keyword research, I definitely advise strongly that you use either Moz Pro or Longtail Pro, or both of them. I personally use them both just because I don't trust one over the other, and sometimes you get discrepancies, and I sort of want to make, I guess, the most intelligent choice, and I think it's better if I use both of them because I've got both of them as well. I may as well use them both to the advantage, and obviously compare like for like to see how what the keyword score is for each. So in this case, let's just focus on the best baby carrier for dad. Say this is our chosen market, we're going after baby products. Say we're just basically, let's just for this example say we're making a baby gear lab competitor. So I'm making a baby gear lab competitor. I've done my market research. It looks like a great market. It looks like there's opportunities there. So I'm thinking, okay, now we need to go on to the keyword research. I need to actually find some keywords that I'm going to be able to rank for. So we go and do some digging around, and we do some of this, and we find this keyword here, best baby carrier for dad. Baby carrier for dad. We think, great, this looks like a good keyword. You already have some content in mind. You're getting excited. You're thinking, okay, this is going to be great. I'm going to write content for this. I'm going to publish it, and boom, I'm going to be top of the SERPs. Well, hold on a minute. First, you need to do the keyword research and actually find whether or not that's a low competition keyword. It's so important that you don't just look at the keyword and go, wow, yeah, best laptop, or something like this, best sippy cups for toddlers. Yeah, that sounds like a great keyword. Hang on a minute, 46% keyword difficulty. You're going to struggle to rank for that with a brand new website. So first, let's look into Moz and find out what is the low competition keyword in Moz. So Moz has a keyword difficulty score, and it's between 1 and 100. I've actually never seen a score of 100, and it's quite rare that you see a score over 60%. Probably if you typed in Google or something, it might come up as 100, I don't know, but yeah, most of the times it's generally speaking, it's between about 10 and 50%, yeah. My preference, and I'm sure other experts out there, I'm not saying I am an expert, but other people out there that have experience probably have their own opinions as to what is a low competition keyword based on this score. However, I personally believe anything up to 25% is a pretty good score, and you could probably look at ranking a brand new site within 3 to 6 months for those keywords. Anything between 25 and 35%, I would say 6 to 9 months is a good time frame for those keywords. Anything above 35%, so 35 to 40 is a difficult one. I've ranked some within 7 or 8 months, and to be honest, I'm not the best at SEO, so some people have probably massively beat me there. However, I'd say 35% to 40%, you're looking between 6 and 9 months to rank for that keyword. Anything above 40 is really difficult, in my own experience at least. Above 40% I do rank for those keywords, but it has taken a considerable amount of time. So just take this into account when you're building a brand new website, and obviously think back to your goals. If you want to get $500 in 6 months, then you need to consider the keyword you're going after and the competition score that they get, because something with a 45%, it probably take more than 6 months for you to rank for it. And there's no need for you to target that. There's multiple keywords with just as many searches and just as much opportunity with just as much potential revenue and commission that are much lower scored. So if you do find keywords in the 40%, just keep looking. There's millions and millions and millions of queries all around the web, and there's thousands and thousands which are waiting just for you right there. So for this example, we're just going to use best baby carrier for dad. So this has got a keyword difficulty of 30%, which I'd say is pretty good. 30% was about 6 months, I'd say, to rank. Just to actually point out at this point, before we move forward, as I've not mentioned, I've just realized this might mislead people a little bit. Another thing to consider when you're looking at keyword research and finding the keywords is the search volume. I've actually not mentioned this at all. Yeah, I'm really sorry about that. I really should have. It's really important. Okay, so oh God, now I need to try and fit this into this video. Okay, so the most important thing is keyword difficulty, and to ensure that you've got low competition score. You also need to ensure that your keyword obviously gets search volume. If your keyword doesn't get searches each month, then it could be 1% keyword difficulty, but there's no point going for it because no one searches for it. So, you need to make sure that you get searches. Now, if I was setting up a brand new site and it was about parenting, and for some reason I wanted to go for this one, then 210 searches per month is not a lot. Now, I have to admit at this point, this is only for this one keyword. As a lot of other people, I think Perrin as well, Perrin mentions this quite a lot. This is just one keyword out of multiple that are very similar variants of this keyword, which you might also rank for at the same time. Things like, okay, how can I twist this into a different way? So best baby carrier for dad could be your keyword you're targeting, but you could also rank for best baby carrier for fathers, or best baby carrier for daddies, or baby carriers for dads, or affordable baby carriers for dads, or baby carrier for dad reviews, those sort of things. I think you probably understand what I'm talking about. I'm talking about similar variants that consumers are searching, that obviously are looking for the exact same information as a consumer that would be searching for this. So yeah, two things to keep in mind here: Moz keyword difficulty score, and obviously the search volume. Now, if you're not going to use Moz and potentially you'll use Longtail Pro, then the keyword difficulty scores and the metrics are a little bit different, and a little bit, they change a little bit. So if we look at best baby carrier for dad, it's 30% here. But if we jump into Longtail Pro, it's 26 here. Now, a 26 and a 30%, because it's completely different platforms, they mean different things. So you can't just say, oh, a 26 and a 30, they're exactly the same. It's not. The way they calculate these metrics are similar. I don't know exactly, if they use the exact same data. Obviously, it's slightly different because, they've got a different score. So there's a little bit of a different margin that I use for Longtail Pro. So with Longtail Pro, I look at any keyword below 20 is incredibly easy to rank for. Any keyword between 20 and 30 is pretty decent to rank for. Like, I would target it and probably, rank within 3 to 6 months, depending on the margin between 20 and 30. 30 to 35, again, 6 months, I'd say, is probably a pretty good time range. And for anything above 35, I'd be looking at probably 6 to 9 months, unless it's like 60 or 70, which is really difficult. But also, I'd steer clear of anything anything above 45 on both platforms, the Longtail Pro and this, just because 45 or above, it's just not necessary. Unless you have no keywords left to target, then it's really not necessary to just target those keywords at all, really. There's always long tail variants that you can be targeting, and obviously get as much profit as you can. You'll also notice there's a difference in this local searches. It says 260 here, and in here it says 210. Now, the reason that's different is because Moz have to use, basically they don't use the API going direct to Google keyword tool anymore. I think Google blocked them or something, or they turned off the access to the API or something like that. So they actually use grep words. So what it does is, I think, grep words basically pulls the data from Google maybe, and then Moz pull it from GetWords. So you will see a slight discrepancy between the search volume from Moz and Longtail Pro. Longtail Pro actually pulls it directly from Google Keyword Tool, because it obviously connects with your Google account. So it means that it can pull it straight from the Google Keyword Tool. There's a slight difference, but I won't worry about it too much. I guess go with Longtail Pro in terms of the searches. I guess they're a little bit more accurate, but who knows? It's as long as it's it's fairly similar, then yeah, just go for it. Another thing to consider at this point in time is, Perrin's actually mentioned this as well, is local searches and the search volume. It isn't as important as people think when you first get started. If we crawl all the way to the top here, there's loads here with 10 search volume. Now obviously 10 visitors a month, everyone's going to look at that and go, oh god, no, I'm not going to target that, what's the point? But honestly, these keywords don't just bring in 10 searches a month. As I mentioned before, there's loads of variants of every keyword that is here. There's loads of variants which you could rank for. If you made a piece of content on best baby carrier for heavy babies, are we talking about fat babies here? Amazing. Yeah, so if you make some content around fat babies, then yeah, there's a chance that you're going to come up with other fat type of baby queries. Oh god, fat babies. Yeah, focus. Yeah. So yeah, if you made a piece of content for best baby carrier for heavy babies, let's just calculate that for funsies. Then the chances are that it's going to come up for multiple other variants. Best baby carrier for fat babies, best baby carrier for overweight babies, best baby carrier for yeah, for big babies, yeah, it's heavy duty baby carrier for babies, whatever, you understand what I mean. If you write a piece of content, 500 words, 1,000 words, then you've got more words than just best baby carrier for heavy babies. So the chances are Google's going to pick up that content and index and rank you for multiple keywords that are variants of this keyword. So yeah, don't ignore these. You might only have 10 searches, but if you start ranking for another 50 queries that are relevant to this and variants of this, and you could be getting, you could get 50 or 100 or 200 or 300 visitors a month off that one. And a keyword competitive score of 19 is really, really easy. So just don't discard these sort of keywords. I would say that these shouldn't be your primary keywords when you're launching a new site. That's my own opinion. I generally try and go for some, high ranking, high search keywords, high search volume keywords. So let's just scroll to the top here. So obviously nothing like this. Baby carrier reviews is probably a little bit too competitive. Best baby carriers. Let's have a look. 26, that's really good, yeah. Okay, so if I was creating a site around best, maybe parenting or around baby carriers just in particular, then my primary keywords for that website, for a particular page or for the homepage, probably not the homepage, for a particular page on my site that talks about baby carriers would be best baby carriers and baby carrier reviews. Now the reason I target these two, after I mentioned, it could take up to 6 months to rank for these, is because meanwhile, while you're trying to rank for these keywords, you're also going after the ones I was just mentioning down below that have an average keyword competitive score of 19 and 15 and 20. You target all combinations and all various ones. So throughout the 6 months, you're not simply just waiting to appear for these. You've also got multiple secondary keywords that you're going after, and that you're ranking for on the way to ranking for these. Yeah, it's really important that you don't just target 1 or 2 keywords, because you could just be sitting around waiting for ages. So let's have a look at a couple more here. Also, I only target best related and review related. So when I'm using Longtail Pro, I'll type in best to filter it to just the keywords I have best in, and I'll just go ahead and just calculate all of these bad boys. So boom, 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 boom. Let's just wait for these top 10. And what I do is, after I've got my keywords, I export them obviously with the keyword competitive score into Excel, and then I sort them by theme and categorize them. So things like baby wrap might be its own page infant carrier might be its own page. Baby wraps would obviously be with baby wraps. So those two would, I might color code them. So these two could be blue because, let's just highlight these. Could be blue because I'm going to put them on their own page. This one and this one and this one and this one could be on its own page, and I'll categorize them as red, just so I know for later. I don't have a maximum amount of keywords that I target per page. What I do ensure is that I don't obviously keyword stuff. If you're not familiar with what keyword stuffing is, it's basically filling your page full of keywords so it looks horrible and unnatural. I do not do that because Google just sees that and just screws you over. Give me a second, I'm just going to drink some water. Sorry about that. So let's just keep using this example. I'm making a parenting site. Let's check it out. So I got my primary keywords up here. The high volume ones, best baby carrier and best baby carriers. And then some secondary keywords or some additional pages that I'll be trying to rank is maybe best baby wraps and best baby wrap. Some other ones is things like this is really good. Best toddler carrier, 15 keyword competitive score, and it's 320 searches. Now, as I mentioned before, this isn't the only query you'll rank for if you publish a page about toddler carriers. I guarantee you that you'll be appearing for other related terms. And on top of that, depending on how you format your page, which we'll go into in a later video, hopefully on this page, if you're talking about best toddler carriers, you have like your introduction, a summary to best toddler carriers, why you're looking for one, try and get in the consumer's sort of mindset, and then you go on to talking about a buyer. It's basically like a buyer's guide. So you just discuss the pros and cons, the features that you should be looking for, maybe sizes or price ranges or brands, and then you say, and these are my top recommendations. Now the top recommendations obviously come from Amazon. And what you do here is you list 3 or 5 with a summary product, a summary of that product, and then maybe a link that says click here to see prices or click here to check out customer reviews, and then that link obviously goes direct to Amazon. And that's pretty much how you do it. But because you've mentioned certain product names in your content and wrote a little summary about them, what I generally find is that I also start to appear and rank for those product related terms, because usually the products that you target are obviously bestsellers or products that are quite familiar and quite popular. So these products themselves have obviously got a bit of brand awareness behind them, and consumers actually know about these products and they search for these products on Google. So what you also find is that people search for, let's actually have a look at this. Say we're doing one on best toddler carrier. So we know that's our keyword. So we go to Amazon.com. We type in what we're doing, best toddler carrier. So you don't have to type best, but I'm just doing that. What is a toddler carrier? That's one of these. So yeah, here we go, some toddler carriers. I guess, what is a toddler? Like, I obviously know it's a kid, but like what age range? If you're going to do some research, let's just say I don't know what a toddler is. I don't know, let's just say 8 to 7 months, just to get a more narrow set of products. What I usually do here is I filter. I use this facet here. I don't know if you guys know this, but a sidebar in an e-commerce site like this is called a facet, F-A-C-E-T. It's just a navigation system so you can filter. What I always do is try and use a facet as much as possible to get more highly recommended products and more specific products to what you're looking for. It basically tailors the product results to what you're looking for. I also always do this because I don't want to be promoting something that's 1 star. 1 star product's crap. Who wants to promote a 1-star product? If you start promoting that on your website, you'll never get any sales. So always filter to the 4 stars and up. I also sometimes do the price range because, I want to get as much commission as possible. But at the same time, I don't want this to be biased towards only those which are expensive, because some people don't want to spend that much, on a product. So let's just have a look here at what we got. So this one's really good because this has 524 reviews. It's $40. Okay, you know, these are all around $40. So if we chose this one, let's just open this up in a new tab. What is the brand name? Mothers on the Move. Lovely. So this is called MOM, or Mo plus M, whatever you want to call it. Classic cotton. So if you was to add this to your best toddler carriers page, then the chances are you might actually start to rank and get searches for, get visitors for people that are searching for mothers on the move baby carrier. You know, we can check that out actually, see if there's any searches for this. Or actually, no, you can do it. I don't want this to be too long. So yeah, just to recap what we've just gone over there is keyword difficulty on Moz Pro, keyword difficulty on Longtail Pro, and sort of my general thesis for how to pick a keyword. Now we're going to go into the second part, which is what is the second part? Sorry, I'm a little bit tired today. Okay, we've done this, check. We've done this, check. Done this, check. Now it's how to validate the search for the chosen keyword. So you've chosen the keyword. Let's just say we've chosen best toddler carrier because that's a pretty awesome keyword there with 15 domain authority. The next is just to make sure that even though this says it's really good and it's not that competitive, you know, we may as well have a look in and have a look at the keyword itself. So best toddler carrier. What I just did here was just opened it up, and what Longtail Pro does is basically shows you the top 10 results. If you know, it's basically the top 10 results when a searcher searches. So if you was to search for best toddler carrier, these would be your top 10 results. Now, quick note, the top 10 results do change slightly based on user's location, user's search history, and your Google account, and the domain that you're using, like google.com, google.co.kr, and you know, everything else. But generally speaking, these will be the top 10 that appear, or at least most of them will. What we want to do when we look in here is first we want to stroll across basically the domain authority here. I think you're all familiar with what domain authority is, but it's basically like the strength of a website. The higher the domain authority, the stronger it is, which means it's really awesome, and basically you can outrank it, or at least it's harder to outrank. But also, on that note, e-commerce sites have massive domain authority, but they're not always the most relevant sites to appear for, especially for these type of keywords. You know, things like Amazon.com or Walmart.com or Target.com to appear for best toddler carrier. They probably would, just because of their awesome domain authority. But if you had a site that was, you know, all about reviews and consumer guidance and buyer guides for parenting products, and you had a page on best toddler carriers and it was recommended products and giving advice about features and functions and prices and brands and whatever not, then it's likely that you're going to appear above them with the right amount of link building and on-page SEO. So do not worry about e-commerce sites unless you're targeting an e-commerce related keyword. Things with best and review are high buyer intent keywords, but consumers that are in the market for information. They are not yet in the market to purchase. That is your job when they get onto your website. So, domain authority. So what we want to look for here is some low domain authority websites. So anything I'd say below 25 is good. Anything below 20 is really good. Anything below 10 is incredible. So we've got two here at 21 each, which is, oh, it's the same site, sorry, which is good, but carry me away. Is this a, okay, let's have a look at this site. It's a slow site. So this is a e-commerce site or not? It's a slow site, that's what it is. Oh god, I'll just give that a second to load. It's really slow. If I see e-commerce sites, I generally just discard them. I don't even consider them, so I think this is an e-commerce site. Oh no, it's not. Why is this even in here? The best hiking carriers. Good job, Google. That's relevant. What is this rubbish? The best hiking carriers for mountain kids. Now, honestly, is that really the most relevant thing if someone's looking for best toddler carrier? I don't think that's massively relevant, to be honest. But wow, it's got a lot of shares. So this website's huge, obviously. Honestly, I wouldn't really worry about this, and that's probably why it's ranking quite low. It's ranking 7th there, and I'd say the reason for that is because I don't actually agree with best hiking carriers being relevant for best toddler carrier query, so that gets ignored. It would be good if we could just delete them or cross them out or something, but we can't. Anyway, next, after looking at domain authority, I would look at page authority. Now, the difference between domain authority and page authority is domain authority is on a whole website level, so it's basically scoring your website. Page authority is scoring the actual page that is ranking for that query. So in Baby Gear Lab's case, it's best baby carrier. That is the page. Babygearlab.com is the website. So 37 domain authority refers to the website, babygearlab.com. And the 27 page authority refers to the page, best-baby-carrier. Pretty easy. What to say about the page authority? Generally speaking, I like to see page authority below 30. Yeah, to be honest, I don't really look at page authority much. Domain authority sort of gives me a good idea of indication as to whether or not I can rank for it, and obviously the keyword competition score overall. But it's good to just make sure there's some in there that are, 10, between 10 and 20, I say, and there's a lot here. Next thing I look at is the page links. Now, page links are actual inbound links coming direct to that page, which is really important, I would say. That's got a crazy amount of links going to that page, but that probably might be from a form or something. I don't know. It's a lot of links. Here, I guess you just want to... This is more for... Personally, I'd say this is more for when you're actually going to be targeting this keyword, because I would use these page links as basically... a way of re-engineering how that website's ranked. I'd go through all of these links using other tools, such as Moz's keyword tool or Ahrefs or Majestic, and actually find out where these backlinks go and see if I can get a link from the same place. But just from an overall validation point of view, I would focus on domain authority, the page authority. Give this a look over, but don't worry about it too much. Obviously, the individual keyword competitive score is good. Bolded titles, I also say, is really important. It's part of on-page SEO, and it's probably one of the most important parts of on-page SEO, is obviously ensuring that you've got the keyword best toddler carrier in the H1 tag and in the meta title. The meta title, which is what you see here, meta title or page title. And that's really it, really. I also obviously have a look at site age, but again, I'm not really a big worrier about site age. I don't think it's massively important. Obviously, Google appreciates older sites, but in this day and age, we're talking not most domains, but there's a lot of domains that have been around for, over 10 years now, so I don't really think it's that important these days whether your site's 6 months old or 10 years old. I think the only thing I would say about this is if I saw a site that was less than 6 months old or less than a year old here, I would say that's a really good indication that you can rank, only because sites that are less than a year old, obviously, they're brand new. It takes a couple of months for sometimes Google to actually, do the old Google dance and, the sandbox and actually getting the site indexed and all of that stuff. And, Google takes some time to actually analyze that site and make sure it's not rubbish. So if you saw a site here that was ranking and it was 0.9, which means it's 9 months old, then I would I'd look into that and say that's a strong indication of you can rank there. And that's really it for the validation part of this. I'll just quickly go over the similar thing for Moz Pro, because they give you a much more in-depth, I'd say, or at least a nicer interface for this. I don't have that keyword, the best toddler carrier, but let's just have a look at this one. So what you do is you click view, and what this does is when it's loaded, amazing. Thanks, Moz, you're awesome. Stupid little robot. What is this doing? Why does this always happen when I'm on a video? Okay, I don't know what's happening there. I can't show you that. So, yeah. Basically go with Longtail Pro because Moz is broken. And yeah, I think that's all I'm going to discuss today. Let's go back to this. So we've talked about what are high buyer intent keywords. Keywords that contain best or review, cheap, affordable, compare, comparison, prices. What else is there? What else is there? Versus. Yeah, that's another one as well. It's an interesting one. When you have like Sony versus Dell, or whatever, 2 brands versus each other, or 2 products versus each other. That's sometimes quite an easy keyword to target as well, because not many people do those comparisons, or actually dedicate a page to doing a versus comparison. So they can also always be some pretty decent terms to go after if you can find any. What are low competition keywords? According to Moz keyword difficulty tool, anything below 20-25 is good, anything below 30 is okay, anything below 35 is doable, anything above 35 will take some time. Longtail Pro, anything below 20 is amazing, anything below 15 is just crazy good, anything between 20 and 30 is doable, anything above 35 is meh, what's the point? Target different keywords. Anything between 30 and 35 is again doable, but will take some more time. How to validate the SERPs? Obviously the keyword competition score is the main validator, and then obviously analyzing the top 10 results, checking the domain authority, checking the page authority, checking the site age, checking actual websites themselves, and checking the content on the website is really important. Let's just go back to Longtail Pro here and just quickly before we finish, have a look at a different one. Let's have a look at this best infant carrier. So we do the same again here. We analyze the domain authority, we look at the site age here, we look at the page authority. So we've got 90, that's Consumer Reports, a big un. We got Baby Gear Lab again, rocking it in first position. They're just owning the whole show. We've also got Things I'm Grateful For. Okay, let's check this out. What we're doing here is basically looking at the content on the site. This site is, what is it? Where has it gone? This one, 19. Its site age is 8 years. It's quite a lot. I thought it'd be younger than that. Domain authority is 31. It's pretty high, but it's not too bad. It's doable. Things I'm Grateful For. What you want to do here is just check their website. Check that it's on page is good. Yeah, just have a look at the content. How long is the content? Do they have H1 tags and all that? Scroll through it. Just see, question, just have a look straight through it and question. Can I do better than this? Can I do a better job than they've done? And if the answer is yes, which is generally the case, he does not look like a father, then, go after it. Do it. Just make sure everything you do is better than your competitors. That's the most important part. So I'm going to conclude this for today. Do hope you enjoyed the video. Apologies for my rants and for my random digressions. But yeah, okay. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you've got any questions, obviously leave them in the comment section below. I do summarize obviously what I say in this video, and actually I go into more detail, so it's not really a summary in my written content on the blog, so check that out. And yeah, if you've got any feedback, any suggestions for additional content in the future, or if you've got any feedback regarding the video itself and maybe my voice, because it's awful, apologies for my accent, then yeah, just let me know. Yeah, awesome. Good luck to everyone, obviously doing the keyword research, and see you tomorrow. Bye bye.